Hello, this is Adam Bernard with AutoPerspectives, and we are at the tail end of a long 3-day weekend here in the U.S. for Labor Day, which is why it's Tuesday, and it's time for another news roundup. We're heading into the Munich Motor Show, IAA, next week, so a few things have already snuck out of the gates, and we'll talk about one of them here. There's more to come this week, and then even more will be launched in Munich next week. So with that, let's dive into what's new and interesting in the business. We will start with the Jeep Cherokee. At one point, the Cherokee was actually the brand's best seller. But over the past couple of years, Jeep has stumbled quite a bit. Volume has dropped, prices have gone up, and the dealers are really desperate for something. And the Cherokee was actually discontinued by Jeep about 2.5 years ago, so it now returns after a rather lengthy absence. It will slot as it used to below the Grand Cherokee and above the outgoing Compass. We'll talk a little more about that in a moment. Underneath the new Cherokee is Stella Large. That is the largest BFI platform from Stellantis. It's the same platform underneath the new Dodge Charger and Jeep Wagoneer S. But in this case, the transverse drive configuration of the previous Cherokee has been retained. So while the internal combustion Charger is longitudinal rear drive, the Cherokee is a transverse front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive setup. As you can see, the exterior design picks up some cues from the original and classic XJ Cherokee from the 1980s, but grows rather larger. It's now within inches of the midsize Grand Cherokee, so this is borderline a midsize SUV, with up to 20-inch wheels available. And unfortunately, along the way, it also gains about 400 pounds in mass. They are claiming best-in-class approach and departure angles, and the upcoming Trailhawk variant, which is specifically designed for off-roading, should do better. So it definitely feels like this will be one of the more off-road capable vehicles in its segment. Now, the price of the Cherokee will start around $37,000, but that particular variant won't actually be available until early next year. Cherokees will appear in Jeep showrooms fourth quarter of this year, starting with the $42,000 limited variant. So we've seen other automakers do this too. Initially, folks who are kind of first-timers to get back into essentially what is a new vehicle are more likely to buy the higher level trim. So even in the face of an affordability crisis in the business, Jeep is continuing with this strategy. All the Cherokees will be coming out of Mexico, by the way. You might recall the previous Cherokee came out of the Belvedere plant. Under the hood at the moment is one configuration. It is a brand new 210 horsepower turbo 1.6 liter 4-cylinder dual motor hybrid powertrain. That's right. It is a hybrid, not a mild hybrid, not a plug-in hybrid. It is a strong hybrid like a Prius, if you need a comparison there. And it's a configuration that's unique in the Stellantis portfolio. There's already a number of front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive plug-in hybrids in Europe, as well as mild hybrids and electric vehicles. And this is the first time that we've seen a non-plug-in strong hybrid show up. Jeep had hinted at this last year, and so we may see this on other Jeeps as well. A 2-liter turbo non-hybrid is rumored to follow. And of course, because the hybrid hardware is already here, there may be a plug-in hybrid of this to follow as well. Jeep claims the combined fuel economy of the Cherokee hybrid will be about 37 miles per gallon, which is pretty good, especially considering the rather boxy profile of the vehicle, and that is comparable to the RAV4 and the CR-V hybrids. The power is a little down, so I'll have to see what the performance numbers look like. Also, one notable difference from Toyota and Honda, the Cherokee does come with a mechanical all-wheel drive setup, unlike the all-wheel drive setup for those brands that use a rear-mounted electric motor to achieve all-wheel drive capability. This is mechanical, and again, part of keeping in with the brand promise of off-road capability. There's a full suite of driving assist technology available, but there's nothing really groundbreaking. You won't find hands-free capability here, for example. Adaptive cruise control or emergency braking are standard, as we are seeing on other vehicles across a variety of segments. The interior looks, well, pretty darn nice and somewhat similar to the Wagoneer S. For a change, it has a nicely integrated 12.3-inch touchscreen that avoids the look of an iPad that is glued onto a dashboard. There is no leather available, which is a bit of a surprise. We thought maybe at least the top of the line Cherokee would offer that, but there are premium materials and recycled materials available, so a little more sustainable. There are octagons. You can see the octagonal steering wheel as well as the octagonal start button, and there is a rotary gear shift as well. Despite the growth in size, the Cherokee loses about 2 inches of rear legroom, but does gain about 30% more cargo space. And this is, a recreational off-roadish vacation type vehicle. So maybe that was the way to kind of relay out the interior. Wireless CarPlay and Android Auto are standard, along with a 10-year subscription to Connect One, which includes over-the-air updates and app connectivity. We've seen the notion of subscription fatigue and how much people are willing to pay monthly for some of this connectivity. And it looks like Stellantis has decided that they're going to give a lot of it to the customer right up front. TomTom is used for the navigation and Alexa for voice commands. So running a bit counter to some of the industry standards, a lot of folks are using Android Automotive as the basis and Google Assist, for example, inside the vehicle, but Stellantis is not going down that path. And then finally, the open question is what happens to the Compass. The new Compass has already been launched in Europe. It looks to be very competitive, and there is an electric version available as well. The Compass was going to be built at the old Brampton, Ontario plant, which is where they used to build Challengers, Chargers, and Chrysler 300s. And those plants appear to be up in the air, and we haven't heard anything lately from the new CEO. If the Compass does not materialize in North America, that leaves the Cherokee as Jeep's entry-level U.S. model. We've also been tracking a $25,000 electric Jeep Renegade. That was something that Carlos Tavares told us about. That vehicle also appears to be missing in action under the new regime. So stand by for more information. And going from off-road to on-road, in this case onto the track, this is the Opel Corsa Vision GSE. Opel, another Stellantis brand, is the first German brand to have EV variants for every car line. But that being the case, they also have now backed off on the plans to be fully electric, totally electric, and only electric by 2028. They understand, as does the rest of the auto industry, that the transition to EVs is not happening as fast as folks expected. And so they will continue to offer EVs, but they will also continue to offer a variety of hybrid and other internal combustion vehicles. This particular vehicle was designed for the Gran Turismo 7 video game, and is designed to embody GSE, which apparently, according to Opel, stands for goosebumps, speed, and euphoria. It uses two 476 horsepower motors. Normally, you just add up the numbers to get the total power, but in this case, for whatever reason, it's limited to 800 horsepower. But that still gets the Corsa Vision to 60 miles an hour in 2 seconds, with the boost function adding 80 horsepower for up to 4 seconds. Up front is the latest Opel Visor front end with an illuminated Opel Blitz, and it features an active aero diffuser and spoiler and front aero curtains. Now, it's one of the reasons that Opel did this, to get visibility in the video game and, get exposure to young drivers or near drivers, but also to offer a preview of the next generation Corsa, which is due out in 2027 off the Stella Small architecture. You can see that there in the bottom right. The interior is described as being detoxed, and it does feature a head-up display, but if you look, there is actually no screen. Opel had a concept a few years back, and where they announced their vision, not unlike BMW's vision, is a screenless interior, and they want to use head-up displays and other alternative approaches to getting the information to the driver, besides a big rectangle right in the middle of the dashboard. It does use illuminated fabrics, which conceal the warning lights, which covers the dashboard and the doors. So again, that's part of that alternative HMI that Opel was exploring. So kind of fun. Again, you won't see this on the road, but if you play video games, then you are likely to run into it on your GT7 setup. And finally, we will head over to India to Mahindra. If you have not heard of Mahindra, or formerly Mahindra and Mahindra, this is an 80-year-old Indian automaker that started life as a steel company, then building Jeeps, and then building their own trucks and SUVs. A large chunk of their business is in India. They don't export a lot. We certainly don't see them here in North America as a consumer brand. Some of the vehicles do go to some other markets around the world, but they decided to unveil a huge swath, 4 vehicles in total, off a new platform. It's a new monocoque lightweight platform called NU-IQ or New IQ. It's designed for ICE, hybrid, and EV powertrains, and for small and compact vehicles. And the vehicles that you see coming up here are all designed in Mumbai. First up are the Vision T and the Vision SXT, kind of variations on the same theme. These are both compact vehicles inspired by, surprise, the Jeep Wrangler, and they are evolved from the Thar E concept that was shown in 2023. And here T stands for Thar. Both these vehicles are described by Mahindra as born iconic. They feature a very long wheelbase, very short overhangs, exposed hinges, flat sides, a C-pillar mounted rear door handles, and in the back of the SXT, actually 2 full-size spare tires. So both designed for some very aggressive off-road capability. Inside the T and the SXT, the interiors are pretty much identical except for some color and trim. They feature a portrait-style touchscreen, toggle switches, good old physical controls like more buyers seem to like these days, and overhead console as well. They are targeting 5-star safety ratings, and Mahindra notes that both the ICE and EV variants of these vehicles, which yes are destined for production, would have flat floors. Next up is the Vision S. Here, S stands for Scorpio, so this would be part of Mahindra's Scorpio family. And this would be the first of the 4 products of the quartet here that would launch starting in 2027. The Vision S represents sporty solidity. You can see it's a little less rugged and crude than the T and the SXT. It has 19-inch wheels, flush door handles, and some curvature to the surfaces. It's not all boxy. A little more about Land Rover Defender type inspiration here with inverted L front and rear lighting units. There are roof-mounted LEDs, a stepladder on one side just behind the C-pillar, and a jerry can on the other side, and nice big 19-inch wheels. The interior features a somewhat different layout from the T and the SXT with high-mounted vents that separate twin horizontal displays. And finally, probably the least off-roadish and the most urban of the 4 is the Vision X, and X here as in the XUV family of products from Mahindra. This represents sculptural athleticism, and it is more of an SUV coupe with more sculpted surfaces and some gloss black accents. So yes, it is still off-road capable, but you'd also be more likely to see this in a nice urban environment. And the interior is a little similar to what we saw in the Vision S, in this case with a large curved display and more premium materials. So again, starting in 2027, you'll start to see all 4 of these vehicles come into market. Mahindra has hinted at some additional exports. I don't think we'll see this brand in North America, but they may decide to expand their presence in Europe. And that about brings us to the end of Auto Perspectives for this week. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe and share. We actually just hit the 300 mark on subscribers a couple of weeks ago, so welcome to all the new folks. And if you want to learn more about Auto Perspectives, visit us at autoperspectives.net and check out the blog. We will be back next week with the first of a few vehicles that will get their official public debut at IAA, but are being shown this week, starting with sounds like a pretty interesting Audi coupe. Until then, sit tight, and we'll see you in about 6 days. Bye-bye.